Minecraft is full of different mobs, but some are almost impossible to find. These are some of the rarest ones you'll ever see. This is one of the rarest chicken jockeys that can naturally spawn. It's a baby zombie riding a baby chicken, and even though that seems impossible, it can actually happen in survival. There are two different ways chicken jockeys can spawn. The first method is direct. Every zombie has a 5% chance to spawn as a baby zombie, and of those baby zombies, 4.75% will spawn already riding a chicken. But these will always be adult chickens. The second method is much rarer. When a baby zombie spawns, it also has a 5% chance to check for nearby chickens in a 10x10x6 area around it. If there happens to be a baby chicken in that range, the zombie can spawn riding that instead, creating a baby zombie on a baby chicken. And if you want to keep it forever, you can use a golden dandelion to stop the baby chicken from growing up. Check out my glitched mushrooms. In snapshot 19W38A, there was a glitch where both the red and brown mushrooms had black mushrooms growing on their bodies. Ew, they look rotten. Did you know in Bedrock Edition, chicken jockeys actually have a 0% chance of spawning? Instead, 15% of naturally spawned baby zombies simply have the ability to climb onto mobs. These special baby zombies can ride almost anything: cows, wolves, pandas, other adult zombies, and much more. You can have a zoo full of cursed jockey combinations you'll never see in Java. There are 3,072 different tropical fish variants in Minecraft. When a tropical fish spawns, there's a chance for it to spawn with completely random body shapes, pattern, and color, which is where those 3,072 unique variants come from. Now here's the weird part. The color black isn't supposed to appear on naturally spawned tropical fish at all, since the eyes would blend in and become invisible. But because of a bug, black can be chosen as a fish color. This results in 3,072 naturally occurring combinations, instead of the intended 2,880. So technically, the all-black fish is the rarest fish in Minecraft, since it's not even supposed to exist. A screaming goat only has a 2% chance to spawn, and you can test it by punching the goat. If it screams each time you hit it, you've got one. On top of that, only 5% of goats spawn as babies. That means the chance of finding a screaming baby goat is just 0.1% or 1 in 1,000 goats. Every time lightning naturally strikes in Minecraft, there's a 0.75% to 6.75% chance, depending on game difficulty, that it creates a skeleton horse trap. At first, it just looks like a normal skeleton horse, but if a player gets within 10 blocks, a lightning bolt hits it and it splits into 4 skeleton horsemen. When a skeleton horse jockey spawns, you can actually freeze the skeleton on top using powdered snow. As it freezes, the skeleton transforms into a stray, but it stays mounted on the skeleton horse. This creates one of the rarest rider combinations in all of Minecraft. Each zombie, zombie villager, husk, drowned, or zombified piglin that spawns naturally has a 0.2375% chance of spawning as a chicken jockey. What can be super satisfying is capturing each different jockey type and putting them in a cage. It'll look like an elemental chicken jockey cage. You'll never see this mob. Zombified piglins have just a 5% chance to spawn as a baby. Out of all naturally spawned babies, only 4.75% of them become chicken jockeys. And on Halloween, just 2.5% of those chicken jockeys can spawn with a jack-o'-lantern on their head. So the odds of finding a zombified piglin chicken jockey wearing a jack-o'-lantern comes out to this small percentage: 0.0059375%, or about 1 in 16,843 zombified piglins. How rare is the rarest panda type in Minecraft? There are 7 possible panda personalities, and each one has its own spawn chance. The normal panda is by far the most common at 63.6%. The weak panda shows up about 9.7% of the time. The aggressive, lazy, worried, and playful pandas each have a 6.25% chance. And finally, the brown panda is the rarest of them all, having only a 1.56% chance. So if you ever find one, you've basically won the panda lottery. Did you know Enderman can pick up mycelium? Hostile mobs can't spawn on Mushroom Islands, which means Enderman can't naturally appear there to pick up mycelium on their own. So if you ever want to see an Enderman holding one, you have to either drag an Enderman all the way to a Mushroom Island or bring mycelium to the Enderman and wait for it to randomly pick one up. Fun fact, when a chicken jockey spawns and you kill the mob riding on top, the chicken that's left behind is actually special. It can never lay eggs. It's permanently infertile. So if you ever wondered why one chicken in your base refuses to lay anything, it could have been a jockey chicken. I'll put you out of your misery. This is the rarest spider jockey in Minecraft. Normally, when a spider spawns, there's only a 1% chance that a skeleton will spawn riding it. That's the classic spider jockey. But it gets even rarer. On hard difficulty, spiders have a small chance to spawn with a permanent potion effect. They can get speed, strength, regeneration, or even invisibility, which means you can actually get an invisible spider jockey jockey, which looks quite terrifying. Did you know zombies have a 5% chance to spawn as zombie villagers, another 5% chance to spawn as babies, and only a 4.75% chance for those babies to spawn as chicken jockeys? If you somehow get this ultra-rare baby zombie villager jockey, you can cure it to create a villager riding a chicken, already one of the rarest mobs in the entire game. But if lightning strikes that villager while it's still riding the chicken, it transforms into a witch riding a chicken, one of the rarest Minecraft mobs that can ever exist. Baby polar bears, baby squids, and baby dolphins can all spawn naturally in the world, but since none of these animals can be bred, their baby forms can only appear when they spawn for the very first time. That means the only way to ever see them is by finding one naturally from world generation, and even then they grow into adults within 20 minutes, making them quite rare. So you'll need to quickly feed it a golden dandelion to keep it forever young. This is one of the rarest mobs in all of Minecraft. YouTubers Rovent and Hep looked through Minecraft's code and calculated the odds of a zombie spawning with perfectly enchanted gear. The chance of a zombie spawning with maxed armor enchantments is about 1 in 167 trillion. But it gets even crazier. Zombies can also spawn holding an iron sword, and that sword can roll enchantments too. If you want the zombie to have max armor and a max enchanted sword, the odds jump to 1 in 700 quadrillion. No one has ever found this mob yet. Snow golems are usually crafted by players, but in extremely rare cases, the game can create one on its own. Some pillager outposts generate with carved pumpkins placed in the structure. If an enderman happens to pick up one of those pumpkins, wander off, and then place it next to 2 horizontal snow blocks, the game will automatically create a natural snow golem. The odds of all that happening are so insanely low that no one has ever found one in the wild. If a red mushroom gets struck by lightning, it actually turns brown. That happening naturally is extremely rare, but not as rare as the other way to get one. If you simply breed 2 red mushrooms, there's a 1 in 1024 chance the baby will mutate and be randomly brown. Do you like my wolf tower? In the 1 block at a time update, you could pick up and stack multiple mobs on top of each other, creating a huge tower of them. That's how players are able to make completely illegal mobs, like this ridiculous wolf tower. This is the rarest Halloween mob you can find in Minecraft. When a camel husk spawns, it has a 10% chance to generate as a jockey, with a husk zombie and a parched skeleton riding on top. From there, the odds get insane. The husk zombie has only a 5% chance to spawn as a baby, and on Halloween, that baby has just a 2.5% chance to wear a jack-o'-lantern. The parched skeleton also has a separate 2.5% chance to wear one. Combine all of that, and the chance of getting a camel husk jockey where both riders are wearing jack-o'-lanterns is about 1 in 320,000 camel husks. Barely anyone has ever seen this mob before. You probably know that skeleton horses, zombie horses, and even camel husks can all spawn naturally. But even though they're all animals you can tame and ride, none of them can be bred, which means you'll almost never see their baby versions in normal gameplay. The only way to see these baby variants is by using cheats to spawn them in, which makes them some of the rarest looking mobs in all of Minecraft. They look quite cute though. I wish they could exist in survival mode. When the blue axolotl was first added to Minecraft, it could actually spawn naturally in the wild. But in the very next update, Mojang changed it. Now the only way to get one is by breeding axolotls, and the baby has just a 1 in 1,200 chance of being blue. Sheep can spawn as white, black, brown, light gray, or gray, and the chances of each color actually change depending on the biome. For example, white sheep are most common in temperate biomes, while black sheep are more common in cold biomes. But no matter what biome you're in, hot, cold, or anything in between, pink sheep always have the same exact spawn rate, 0.164%. Most players don't realize just how rare charged creepers used to be. Today we have lightning rods and channeling tridents, so electrocuting a creeper is easy. But before those items existed, you had to wait for a thunderstorm, hope a creeper spawned nearby, and then pray that a random lightning bolt happened to strike that exact creeper. No control, no tricks, just pure luck. This made charged creepers so incredibly rare that they were genuinely exciting to spot. When a zombie nautilus spawns in the ocean, there's a 50% chance it will spawn as a jockey with a drowned riding on top. But there's an even rarer version. If a zombie nautilus spawns in a warm ocean biome, it becomes a coral zombie nautilus, a colorful and much cooler looking variant. If you kill the drowned riding it, the zombie nautilus turns neutral and you can tame the rarest nautilus in the game. Fun fact, every time you throw an ender pearl, there's a 5% chance an endermite will spawn. In Java Edition, the endermite spawns at the player's original position where the pearl was thrown from. But in Bedrock Edition, it spawns at the landing spot of the pearl, which honestly makes a lot more sense. Did you know it's actually possible to get a giant zombie in your normal survival world? It's insanely rare, but it can happen. In the Infinite Infinite Dimension Snapshot. One of the random worlds, the dimension called Z, naturally generates giant zombies. If you manage to find that dimension and build a massive nether portal, you can bring the giant zombie back into your main world. The Illusioner has a 0% chance of spawning in Minecraft. Well, almost. This special mob can normally only be summoned with commands, but there was one version where it could actually spawn on its own. In the Infinite Dimension Snapshot, if you explored enough of the random worlds, you could occasionally find a dimension where Illusioners spawned naturally. And when they do, they create 4 illusion clones of themselves and start firing arrows at you, making them one of the weirdest and most chaotic mobs hidden in Minecraft code. Villages don't generate in swamps, but if you breed villagers there, the baby will spawn as a swamp villager. They're super cute and wear a leaf hat, but you'll never see one naturally without bringing villagers into the biome yourself. The same thing happens in jungles. Villages can't generate there either, but if villagers breed in a jungle, the baby becomes a jungle villager, wearing what looks like a fuzzy fur coat. These 2 villager types are impossible to find in the wild. The only way to get them is to drag villagers into those biomes and force them to have kids. So you've probably heard of the killer bunny, the hostile rabbit that attacks players and can only be spawned with commands today. But in the early snapshot versions, when rabbits were first being tested, the killer bunny actually had a 1 in 2,500 chance of spawning naturally. And while that alone was extremely rare, if you bred a killer bunny with normal rabbits, there was a tiny chance a baby would also become a baby killer bunny, a mob almost nobody has ever seen, because realistically, he would breed something that wants to murder you. Frogs that spawn naturally in swamps will always be orange, and frogs that spawn in mangrove swamps will always be white. So where do the green frogs come from? You can't find them naturally. To get a green frog, you have to breed 2 frogs, take the tadpoles, and let them grow up in a cold biome. Only then will they turn green. This makes a green frog surprisingly rare, since you'll never see one unless you specifically know to hatch the tadpoles in cold climates. Normally, every time a strider spawns, there's a 1 in 10 chance that a baby strider will spawn riding on top. In today's versions, the tallest natural stack is capped at just 2 striders, but in this snapshot, things were very different. Striders could spawn in stacks of 3 or more, with each extra rider making the chance exponentially rarer. Some stacks got so tall that if you put a lead on the bottom one and sat on the top strider, you'd actually start flying upwards. If you trap a pillager in a boat and then sit in the boat with it, the pillager will keep trying to shoot you with its crossbow, but every shot will miss. It'll do this over and over until its crossbow finally breaks. Once that happens, you're left with a peaceful pillager that doesn't try to attack anymore. You can trap that peaceful pillager in a box with a villager. The villager will still panic and try to run away, even though the pillager won't do anything at all. I guess the villagers are just traumatized. Every Halloween, all zombie variants, skeleton variants, and zombified piglins have a 22.5% chance to spawn with a carved pumpkin on their head. That sounds rare, but it's actually not that special. Any mob that can pick up items can already equip a pumpkin, and you can even use dispensers to put carved pumpkins on them. What is truly rare is the jack-o'-lantern variant. Only on Halloween there's a tiny 2.5% chance for these mobs to spawn wearing a jack-o'-lantern, which is impossible to equip on any other day of the year. You can't force it with item pickup, and dispensers don't work either. The game only creates them naturally on Halloween. Iron golems used to be super rare. While today every village naturally spawns with an iron golem, it wasn't always like this. Before 1.14, golems were a lot rarer because a village needed at least 10 villagers and a minimum of 21 doors, which is absurd! What makes things worse is that back in the day, many villager houses didn't even have any doors, so the chances of a village being big enough to have 21 doors was impossibly low, due to the requirements being so insane. There isn't a single known seed out there of a naturally spawning golem before the 1.14 village and pillage update. If you create a Minecraft China bedrock world, you'll spawn in and find a strange-looking fox. This isn't a normal mob, but it's a pet! If you check your inventory, you'll also notice a pet menu. Here you'll be able to change your pet's skin, have it emote, shine a beam into the sky, and even use it for extra storage. But that's not all. The pet lets you toggle the view of mob health, so you can see the HP of the mobs you're fighting. How rare is a wandering trader in Minecraft? Every Minecraft day, the game tries to spawn one near a random player, but the chance isn't fixed. It actually increases the longer you go without seeing one. On the first day, there's only a 2.5% chance. If it doesn't appear, the second day the chance rises to 5%. If it still doesn't spawn, it increases again to 7.5% and stays at that chance each day until one finally shows up. As soon as a wandering trader spawns, the chance resets back to 2.5% and the cycle starts all over again. I can't believe these were in Minecraft. The in-dev version of the game had 4 really unusual mobs: Steve, Black Steve, Rana, and Beast Boy? Really? These mobs were originally broken and didn't even have a walking animation. These cartoon characters shouldn't be in the game. Mojang is about to catch a lawsuit. Did you know trader llamas are actually better than normal llamas? It sounds strange because they have the same health and deal the same damage. So why are they better? There's one key difference. Normal llamas only attack wolves and ignore hostile mobs, but trader llamas will actually fight back against some hostile mobs like zombies, husks, pillagers, and more. The wandering trader might be rare and useless, but his llamas will literally spit at hostile mobs to protect you. Aww. The witch's hut might appear simple, but it's hiding a dark secret. In every witch's hut, a black cat will naturally spawn. But that's not the strange part. If you spawn cats here in creative mode, it will result in only black cats spawning. How is this possible? Did you know that if you summoned an iron golem named Billy Belong in the 1 block at a time April Fool's update, his arms would be permanently stuck in the air? According to the Minecraft wiki, it would also sometimes give flowers to players with these special names. The name Billy Belong isn't random either. It's actually a reference to a Mojang employee named Billy, who got this little Easter egg added to the game as a tribute. This is the fastest horse you can get in survival Minecraft. It zips around the environment at super speeds. To get it, you had to type the secret code, "How do you turn this on?" in the 2D shareware April Fool's update. Once you spawn the horse in, you could easily just update your world to the latest version. Now, while an elytra is still faster than this, I prefer the horse since we can actually explore the land as opposed to just flying over it all. Baby piglins are adorable. While the adults will hunt down hoglins, baby piglins will sometimes ride on top of baby hoglins, even stacking up to 3 piglins on a single one. It's ridiculously cute. You know how if you name a rabbit Toast, its texture changes? Well, there's actually a special name for wolves that can make it change textures. In the 1 block at a time update, if you spawned a wolf named Mars, the dog's texture would be this brown friendly guy. This is very cursed. This mob looks like a villager, but it's not. It's an NPC, and they're a lot more powerful. Normally, you just trade with villagers, but NPCs have a ton of abilities. You can change their name to anything you want, make them look like a computer, create dialogue that tells you to subscribe, or even just run commands. Their giant noses do look a bit funky though. This is one of the rarest Endermen you'll ever see. Endermen are able to pick up blocks like cactus, grass blocks, and even mushrooms. However, in older versions of Minecraft, Endermen had the ability to pick up netherrack as well. So if you're playing on an old world from these versions, you might just spot one of these uncommon Endermen. Did you know that if a villager gets struck by lightning, it turns into a witch? The sad part is that if a villager becomes a zombie, you can cure it with a weakness potion and a golden apple. But once it becomes a witch, there's no way to turn it back. The only way to free them is to kill them. Thankfully, this almost never happens naturally, unless you accidentally electrocute them yourself with a channeling trident. Oops! You probably know that if a sheep is named Jeb_, its wool cycles through all dye colors. Even when you shear it, you can see the fur bits changing like a rainbow. Most new Minecrafters get amazed by this small Easter egg, and I just wish Mojang added more name tag secrets like Prism! Back in Minecraft Update 1.4.2, there was a possibility for a desert temple to actually spawn witches. This was a rare glitch that occurred whenever a desert temple would generate on top of a witch hut, causing the witch hut to be entirely deleted, but the witch spawning behavior to remain. It was also possible for this to happen with a jungle temple, but it was way more interesting with desert temples, since these structures are larger and have more space for the witches to walk inside. This might just be the oldest living dog in all of Minecraft. His name is Wolfie, and he was found and tamed in 2011 on 2B2T, the oldest anarchy server in Minecraft. Wolfie survived on the server for almost 10 years before his owner actually moved him to a more secure location. The weird thing is that when he checked this location again later, Wolfie was mysteriously missing. No one's sure if he was killed, deleted, or maybe just moved somewhere else by another player. But if he is still alive out there, that would make him 13 years old. That's like 74 in dog years. He's an old man. This naturally spawning zombie takes 7 critical hits with a netherite axe to kill. Here's why. You might have heard of the leader zombie. These have up to a 5% chance to spawn on hard mode, and every time you hit one, there's a very high chance it spawns reinforcement zombies. You can see this clearly in flat areas where almost every hit causes a new zombie to appear. Even in a mushroom fields biome, a leader zombie can spawn reinforcements here. Leader zombies also have way more health. Regular zombies only have 10 hearts, but leader zombies can have up to 50 hearts, which is why they can take 7 critical hits with a netherite axe just to kill.